Welcome in. If you are building a brand or, an audience today, you're probably doing it on rented land.
Yeah, almost definitely.
Right. You spend years designing this spectacular custom mansion, you create content, you gather followers, but big tech actually holds the deed.
Big tech holds the deed, and they pay pennies. They run ads for your competitors right next to your work. And I mean, your URL is ultimately just their platform.com/you.
Exactly. And the landlord can change the locks whenever they want. So today we are exploring how Intercoin helps influencers, event organizers, businesses, even religious congregations, or whole towns, really, take back control.
Yeah, by building their own centralized independent community hubs,
Yeah.
which is so crucial because, well, we have seen how fragile dispersing an audience across third-party apps can be.
Oh, totally. Like taking politics entirely out of it, just looking at it purely as an infrastructure case study. You look at Donald Trump back in 2021.
Right, when he was deplatformed from Twitter.
Yeah. He lost his primary communication channel literally overnight. He had to spend heavily to build a completely new platform just to reach the people who already wanted to hear from him.
And that just proves that if you rely exclusively on platforms like, Facebook, TikTok, or X, anyone can lose their audience in a flash if they don't own the infrastructure.
Which brings us to Intercoin's alternative, right? Providing the open source tools to build your own hub. But, open source infrastructure sounds great on a feature list, but how does that actually prevent someone from pulling the plug?
Well, it prevents it because of where the data actually lives.
Yeah.
You aren't logging into Intercoin servers to run your community.
Right, because if you were, they could just shut you down.
Exactly. You download the open source software, you install it on your own servers or maybe a hosting provider of your choice, and you operate under your own domain name.
So because you possess the actual database and the code, there is no central corporate off switch for anyone to flip.
You completely own the house.
Okay, so you own the house. But migrating an audience from a highly engineered app like TikTok to an independent hub sounds like a recipe for a ghost town.
Yeah, I can see why you would think that.
Like, how does a standalone hub actively keep people connected without the big algorithm pushing content?
Well, by bridging the digital and the physical, I mean, this isn't just a static message board. The software actually integrates directly with tools like Google Maps and user calendars.
Oh, wait, so it blends online webinars with actual real-world events?
Yeah, exactly. You can even coordinate physical group rides to a local venue directly inside the app.
That is wild. The presentation mechanics really stood out to me, too. A speaker can control all their media, like PDFs or videos, straight from their phone.
While the audience scans a QR code to give real-time feedback, right?
Yeah, but honestly, giving a live audience instant input access sounds like a moderation nightmare. How does this not instantly devolve into just a chaotic, noisy free-for-all?
It is a fair question.
Hmm.
But it works because of the architectural friction built into the system. Admins manage vetted roles, meaning they can review content before it ever gets published.
Right, so you have actual gatekeepers.
Yeah, and the environment itself is organized into specific, tagged modules for discoverability.
Hmm.
But crucially, they use gated membership plans.
Oh, so like a subscription model.
Sort of. When you require a weekly, monthly, or yearly package to participate, you inherently filter out the noise. You curate a focused, invested community.
And that investment piece leads right into monetization, which I really want to push on, because we are talking about communities releasing their own custom currency, right?
Yeah, whether it is a political campaign or a literal town.
But that sounds incredibly legally and technically complex for, say, a neighborhood or a hobby group to actually execute on their own.
Oh, it would be a total nightmare if they had to build the financial architecture from scratch. But the platform handles the technical deployment and the back-end accounting seamlessly.
So how does it actually function for the user?
The mechanism is basically a closed microeconomy. Users buy these specific community credits to transact directly within your hub.
Meaning I could use those credits to pay another member for a video call tutoring session.
Right, or maybe pay for guaranteed access to a creator's private inbox.
That makes sense. And I assume the system's ledger just automatically tracks it all.
Exactly. So you can easily pay out your staff or guest authors in real value.
Which fundamentally changes the dynamic. You are engineering a self-sustaining internal economy rather than just putting out a digital tip jar for a passive scrolling audience.
That is the ultimate goal. You transition from a dispersed audience to direct, meaningful relationships fueled by grassroots organizing.
It really reflects Intercoin's core philosophy.
Yeah, sound money, individual choice, and true democracy.
You actually stop renting the land and you own the house.
Precisely. Which leaves you with an interesting thought to walk away with.
Let's hear it.
If you could launch a custom currency for your own neighborhood, or maybe your favorite hobby group today, how would that fundamentally change the way your community interacts tomorrow?